Hey guys, this is Courtney from Willow's Bloom, and I am back to deliver a message around the Sagittarius New Moon that's happening on December 12th, which is maybe today if this is going out, or maybe tomorrow. I think it'll be going out. So, this has been a wild new moon for me, and I was actually meaning to record this earlier, but because of my whole channel getting hacked into and all my content deleted, and then my YouTube channel entirely deleted by YouTube, I have been more on damage control these last few days. So I think this also is helpful to have this context before going into this new moon, because there's a message that I have that's pretty clear here around redoing things or things regenerating. And I think that this, new moon experience for me might just be symbolic of things that you guys might be doing as well. So, Sagittarius new moon. A new moon is always about a new beginning. So we know that we are initiating something or having some kind of, illumination of where we want to go next. Even though the new moon is, of course, dark, there is a feeling, there's a seed planted, there is somewhat of an inner knowing of how we want to move forward with things in our life. Sagittarius in particular is the archer. So if you think about the archer and the bow, someone told me this the other day, if you think about the bow, you're pulling it back and then you're launching it. And having time to pull back and re-look at things or redo things or reintegrate things before launching forward is going to ensure greater success. So instead of just trying to throw things forward, you have the momentum of making sure that you're really moving through a solid foundation and looking at things in your life and asking if the physical is aligning with the spiritual. And that's what I think this moment of pulling back is about. And that's going to look so different for so many people. That could look like reflecting on your life and kind of where you are at this point in your life. That could look at, that could mean that things come up that are pretty surprising or confusing that make you do a double take and ask yourself deeper questions, or just have you face certain things that you were not noticing before. So there's something about this energy that's trying to get us to look back. And one of the reasons I say that is because this new moon is making an exact quincunx to Uranus. And the last time that this happened with the moon was actually during eclipse season. And so on October 14th, we might have found that the eclipse happening at that time has some parallels with what's happening now, not in terms of the same energy occurring across the board, but this particular transit happening at both times could indicate that we are kind of thinking back to, what was happening a couple of months ago and how were we feeling about things? How are we moving through things then? And maybe we need to kind of look at things differently now from that period of time, or redo something that we started then. And it doesn't have to correlate to that period of time. It's just a potential that it could. Regardless, for many of us, we're kind of reevaluating things, and with this card, regenerating things that we're maybe feeling like they were on autopilot or they were stuck in some capacity and the energy was building. So regardless of where that is for you, I think you'll notice very obviously during this new moon, if it's aspecting your birth chart, that there's something that needs a little bit more time and attention and care to become realigned and to become strengthened as well. And it's interesting because I also pulled this 10 of Cups and the Death card. And to me, this is an indication of transforming energy so that it is more pleasing to us. The 10 of Cups is a complete emotional fulfillment around something. And in order for us to feel really fulfilled or achieve a certain goal, which is going to lead to that emotion, hopefully, or if we're wanting to improve relationships, which leads to those happy feelings, or whatever it is that we're trying to do, with this Death card, we need to first clean up a little bit. We need to tie up loose ends. We need to make sure that what we're doing is not just in alignment, because I think what we're doing is probably mostly in alignment, although that is helpful to ask ourselves. But it's like kind of tweaking things so that we do look at our life through a different perspective. And that's all about Sagittarius. Sagittarius is our beliefs, it's our meaning making system, it's our way of viewing the world, and again, contriving greater purpose from our experiences. And so we're being asked to look at the our life through a new lens, especially around things that have already happened or that we've already invested our energy into, so we can transform it and make certain changes that will make this area of our life better. It could be so different for everyone. It could be trying to make it more efficient, try to make it more emotionally vulnerable. It could be trying to make it safer. Like whatever this area of your life is, we're having to ask ourselves, how could this be better? And how could this be more solid in my future? And with this new moon making a quincunx to Uranus, there is definitely some element of having a little bit of chaotic and surprising energy. This could be coming externally, where things happen to us that are surprising, like my account being hacked, or it could be ways in which we or others behave that is a little bit chaotic in and of itself. So we could be the ones being quite willful and maybe impulsive, I should say. So we might have this energy, but the best way to utilize this with Uranus here is to look at things from a different perspective. It's trying to get us out of maybe some stuck energy or some monotony in order to reinvent or revitalize something, re-energize something, and innovate. And the way to do that is to look at things through a new perspective. So if we keep trying to do things the way that we've been doing them, we're not going to get to where we want. And this true wish fulfillment comes from being willing to challenge our preconceived notions, challenge our previous behaviors, and tweak and perfect things in our life through this new innovative lens, so that the old things become so much bigger and better, and they become new almost in a way. So I love that. I think that's a time of experimentation, and I think it's going to be very helpful for moving things forward a lot faster, especially because we do have other positive aspects happening that are not really connected to the moon itself, but there are other planets being involved here with Venus and Jupiter and everything that are going to give us positive outcomes, in my opinion. Okay, something else that I'm seeing though with this new moon is it's making a square to Neptune. And anytime I see a moon making a square to Neptune, there is always going to be some level of confusion or haziness around what's happening. If you are currently sick, for example, this new moon energy can weaken your immune system a little bit more. If you are, trying to aim your bow and know exactly where to release it to hit the bullseye, you might find that things change or things are not going to just remain the same in order for you to hit the bullseye in that way. So or there could be some haze that runs through and you can't see it as clearly. So there's something here where we're needing to aim for our future, but pull back the bow and revitalize and reinvent the past. And then things might change in the future as a result of doing this. And I think that's partially what this square to Neptune means, is that, yes, we're going back and kind of tying up these loose ends and fixing things, improving things through new eyes. But we also don't have full clarity on exactly how this is going to end up. And that square to Neptune is indicating that we just need to trust. We need to trust that if we can do these things, that we can continue to pivot where necessary, that we don't have to always know where the arrow is going to land before we make these decisions to pull back and make these changes. And it's okay to not have all the answers right now. It's okay to experiment and try things on, but not feel like you totally get where it's all coming from, where it's all going, why this is happening, what it all means. It's okay if you don't have all of that. So let's, again, go back, revitalize the past, but be at peace with not knowing the future as a result of making those changes, because they're separate. They're separate things. I think we'll have clarity around the past, but not clarity around the future, and that's okay. And so if we can make peace with that, I think it will really help with the energy of this new moon. This new moon is also aligning with a trine to the nodes, so the north node. And that is really positive because anytime we see some aspect with the north node, we realize that this is a part of our evolutionary journey as a soul to make these necessary changes. With the north node being in Aries, we're being asked to pioneer, do things differently, but also take initiative and not just passively wait for things to happen. With the square to Neptune, sometimes we can throw up our hands and be like, oh yeah, like this isn't really working well for me, but we don't make actively the changes and take our agency back to do things differently. That is something that a square Neptune can really deprive us of, is the opportunity for this necessary progress and this necessary implementation. And so my warning here would be to not be a bystander in your life right now. With the trine to the north node, we are being highly encouraged and emphasized to act independently, act boldly and courageously, and take initiative to do the things, to implement the things that you need and that you want to do to improve your life. Mercury is in Capricorn right now. So these are kind of separate from what's going on with the new moon. So it's not making an angle to the moon, but Mercury is in Capricorn, sextiling Venus and Scorpio and trining Jupiter. So we really are being opened up in terms of our neural pathways. Our brain, our nervous system is being given the benefit of these benefic planets, which means that there could be relationship support that comes in and helps you discover by talking to somebody what those next steps should be or how you can, better something, for example. It could mean that you have a really amazing idea when you're journaling. It could mean that work goes a little bit more smoothly with your colleagues. But there's just a little bit of this social energy because Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter all have quite a bit of a social aspect to it. So there's something about our relationships and the people in our lives right now that can be here to support our brain and open up new ways of thinking that is really primed during this time with this new moon quincunxing Uranus, a planet of experimentation, innovation, and breakthroughs. So it's like people can act as the social lubricant to create those breakthroughs. And so I really encourage you guys to put yourselves out there to take the initiative or ask for support or just simply hang out with people that you maybe wouldn't do on a weekday, for example. Venus is also opposite Jupiter at this time. So sometimes there's a little bit of an overindulgence that can happen with a transit like this. So that's just a little bit of a side note to it's a beneficial social positive energy, but it can sometimes lead to like overeating or overspending. So just being mindful that the things that you're doing right now truly actually align with what you're wanting or where you're wanting to go. Venus is not super happy in the sign of Scorpio. So even though our relationships are much more supportive right now, with Mercury sextiling Venus, our conversations are going a lot more fluidly and our clarity can come from these people. With Venus and Scorpio, we still are a little bit more curious, I would say, about our relationships. This area is still not so stable, because Venus is all about harmonizing, bringing people together, finding this feeling of connection and of ease. But in Scorpio, there is not the same feeling of being able to relax and just trust and lean into something. And so we might find that while relationships are doing well right now, there is still something in the back of our mind with this Venus and Scorpio energy that isn't fully at ease in certain situations. And that's okay too, because Jupiter is here supporting it. It's not a negative thing. It's just part of the cycle. Whenever Venus moves into the sign of Scorpio, is always going to have a little bit of that energy to it. And it's a good time to be more psychologically aware of others, because that's how this energy can be best used. How can I better understand myself and others on a deeper level by asking maybe some of these harder questions about what motivates people, who can I trust, what drives them to do certain things, and then having that level of transparency or being able to see someone or see a situation for what it is will help you in the end make the right decisions, and support the relationship in the way that it should be supported. Do I want to say anything else? So Jupiter is the ruler of this new moon because it rules Sagittarius, where this moon is taking place at 20 degrees. and 40 seconds. And Jupiter right now is in Taurus. And again, it's being positively aspected by by Mercury, and then also aspected by Venus. So this moon is definitely trying to get us to tap into this conversational relationship energy. So schedule your interviews for right now, schedule your hangouts, your dates, have important conversations, and also maybe not have important conversations just because this new moon squares Neptune. Maybe it won't be super clear about how things are going to be moving forward, but at the very least, you can kind of fix what's going on right now in the past, and that can go well in conversations. I did pull the Five of Wands and the Ace of Cups. So if people have been having conflict, this could be a time to smooth over some of that conflict. And that's kind of what I mean. So things of the past, it could be time to just lay it to rest, and decide to feel a little bit more emotionally at ease. And then it's interesting because I'm seeing these really fiery and like powerful cards with the wands, the Five Wands and the Death card. And then they're by very soft, emotionally fulfilling cards with the Ace of Cups and Ten of Cups. So there's something about going through some of these maybe more intense energies to get to these really soothing, positive, calming energies at the other side with the Ace of Cups and Ten of Cups. And that is probably a very Sagittarius experience. When I think of Sagittarius, I think of like the hero's journey, and they start off, a little naive, and then they go out into the world and they face challenge, and then they come at the end with a lot of wisdom and patience, and just so much that they've learned as a result of that. So there's something about a hero's journey here, something coming full circle, and again, kind of cleaning up whatever was happening in your life in that you've been investing into, or something from the past, and moving forward on a much more stable and solid plane. So that is what I'm seeing for the overview. Let's go ahead and dive into all the signs. But before I do, I wanted to mention that I am in the process of creating something, and I would like to interview some people to make sure that I create the best possible thing. So if you are a healer, so this could be many different professions, and just email me if you're not sure if this would suit you. My email is contact@willowsboom.com. I'll link it down below. But if you're a healer, so like if you do Reiki, if you're a massage therapist, if you're a nurse, if you do any type of energy work, medicine work, if you're a shaman, it goes on and on and on. Sound healing. Anyway, if you are a healer and you want to use astrology with your clients, if you've been interested in how to use astrology as a greater tool for healing mind and body, so I'm going to cover both. If you're interested in that, please let me know. Email me at contact@willowsboom.com and write healer interview in the subject. If you can give me an hour of your time, possibly less, then I will give you a 2024 personalized forecast report for your time. And it's not a sales call. It's just an interview. I'm just really curious about how to best serve this community, and I'm very excited about that. So thank you guys so much. Let's go ahead and dive into what this is going to look like for all of the signs. I believe I'm going to post those videos separately, so you can find those linked down below in the description box as always. And I will see you guys there. Bye.